To another edition of Creator News Live. So glad to be back with you. It feels like it was only been a week, but like we skipped one, but still it just feels like an eternity for all the folks who are going to be joining probably today, who we saw at Creator Camp and Momentum. Had such a good time. I got to hang out with Connor last week at the old Orlando. Got us some good food, hung out with Paul and a bunch of other people. Fulgens was there, and so Katie, it was just such a good time. So Connor, have you recovered? I've barely recovered. So
I've recovered, but I'm lonely. You know,
I know it really is.
You're with all of your people for so much time throughout that whole week, because it was almost 4 days this year. That's what Momentum was, and then Sunday comes and you wake up Monday morning and you're like, what do I do? I've forgotten what to do with my hands and anything at all, and right. All of that.
Yeah. And it was cool because Laura, we got to hang out at Creator Camp. She is always there doing amazing stuff. She actually helped save my bacon a little bit towards my presentation, because we had a little bit of tech issues.
Or cooked your bacon. I don't know.
It was not your fault. it was very, and it wasn't Ecamm's fault. It was just what happened. So, but yeah, a lot of people are chiming in going, oh, we miss everybody. And we've got Miss Jill's in the audience saying 3 amazing people right there. Yeah. Miss Jill is amazing. Amy Keys saying, oh, Connor, miss you too. Amy, we got to hang out with her in Orlando. And nice guy, Zach Brown is in the chat today. Zach, it was so much fun hanging out with you guys. And Tater from But Mostly Disney says, we skipped for a good reason. Yeah, we were hanging out together. So many cool people are in the chat today. We are going to have fun. So as we're going along today, I want you guys to ask your questions, because this is for you. We want to do this all for you. And we've got the amazing Chris Stone actually showing up as well, saying Laura Davidson is a rock star. He's all trouble spelling this morning, but okay. And Amy has said she is so excited to meet Laura. I'm working on her Christmas list. Tell me the things I need to put on. Oh, Amy, you should have not said anything.
I know. I'm not responsible for your, Yes, I am responsible.
And Jim Fuse, Jim is amazing. He says, Laura's awesome. Looking forward to learning from her. Jeff and Connor are okay too. We're just window dressing. We're on the sandwich. We're the bread with Laura's the protein in the middle. So,
sweet. Right
yeah. So I'm going to hit go on the podcast machine and we'll get started. You ready, Connor?
Let's do it.
All right. Hello, folks. Welcome to Creator News Live. I'm Jeff C., and you're not.
And I'm Connor Brown, and this is the show that keeps you up to date on what's happening in the creator economy and more.
You ever figured out what kind of gear you really need to sound professional? Maybe you've wondered how creators make their audio so clear, consistent, and effortless. Or maybe you've been thinking about starting your own podcast, but aren't really sure where to begin. If any of that sounds familiar, you're in the right place, because this week we're joined by someone who knows audio inside and out. Laura Davidson has built her career at the intersection of music, tech, and content, working with creators, consulting with brands, and hosting not one, but we're going to talk about it, 2 podcasts. Today she's pulling back the curtain on what actually matters when it comes to great sound. So sit back, clear your schedule, clear your mind, and get ready for this week's episode of Creator News Live. Laura, how are you doing today?
Doing wonderful. Thank you. Wonderfully, whatever.
Yeah, it's good. It's Friday. We're pretty easy here. But I want to do a shout out to our friends over at Ecamm who help sponsor the show. You can find out more about them at ecamm.com/Jeff. Such a great community. Not just a great piece of software that lets us do this amazing things, but they are awesome. A bunch of them are in the comments. Miss Jill's there. She's doing some fabulous things in the community. So if you haven't checked them out over on Facebook in their community, make sure you do that. But go to ecamm.com/Jeff if you've never tried it, and let me know what you think. But let's get started, because we're going to be talking about audio myths. But I want to know, you guys in the comments, like, what's the biggest audio challenge you've faced in your content? Like, if it's for your live stream, if your podcast, video calls, you name it, let us know. Drop it in the comments. What are you struggling with audio-wise? Amy already said, like, she needs to know what to buy for Black Friday. What are you guys looking for? What are you trying to do? Level up your mic? Just let us know, and we will try to help out. But we're going to be talking about how to make creators sound better. But before we get on that, I'm going to do like we always do. We're going to play a little opener that we've created for Laura. So here we go.
Davidson's here, helping your sound be crisp and clear. Got audio problems, never fear. Laura Davidson's here.
Yes.
So I'm always nervous having somebody who is like a professional singer and, and I throw AI music at them and I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? So anyway,
That was good.
I just want to say, I am not going to pay to sit down and listen to an AI concert, but I would sit and pay to listen to Laura Davidson because I got to hear her sing at Creator Camp.
Thanks,
so,
Jeff.
Very, very cool.
That was
Connor,
fun. Yeah.
take it away.
And it's so awesome. I'm just so impressed that was your voice again, Jeff, singing that song.
It's falsetto.
Really
great.
versatile.
Yeah.
He's
I had
really
no
versatile.
idea you could get that high note. Yes, we are so excited to have Laura back. We're going to talk all things audio, all things bringing it all together. But if you don't know who Laura Davidson is, you should. She is a versatile musician, singer, songwriter, and technology specialist known for her contributions to the music and audio industries. Her work with top audio companies like Shure, Boss, and TC Helicon showcase her skills in demonstrating and promoting high-quality audio equipment. She helps to bridge the gap between creators and technology. Laura's passion for music and gear is evident whether she's performing her original songs or providing expert audio advice at industry events. Welcome back to the show, Laura.
So amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I do want to say, because there's been some, like Paul brought up in the comments, he said, Laura rocked karaoke at Creator Camp. Lou was making a joke that he says, like, you're like Clark Kent and Superman. Like, you took off your glasses and you basically turned into Michelle Pfeiffer on the Fabulous Baker Boys on top of the piano. Like, it was amazing. Like, if you haven't heard Laura sing, I was so impressed. It was awesome. So,
thank
Connor,
you
you missed out.
guys.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you.
awesome.
Got it.
But let's jump into helping creators sound better. And I want to talk about, like, what do you do? Like, what is your work as an audio consultant and like market developer? What does that involve when you're helping these creators create, and create and improve their sound? So, like, how do you, assist people in crafting a better audio strategy for their projects?
Well, it usually starts with a question of where are you at in your journey right now? What are you using? What have you been using? And what are the challenges that you're facing? Because a lot of times I think we just kind of jump in, or we're the opposite. We're like paralyzed and we can't make a move without having the tech knowledge. So I often start by asking a lot of questions, and then that helps guide the conversation of which product might be the best fit or which, kind of scenario. Like right now I'm using something called the MV7 Plus, which is my be all end all because I've got it plugged in USB-C into my MacBook and I have headphones plugged in directly to the back. So that's it. I take it on the road. It's portable. It's easy. It cuts out background noise and my less than perfect space. But if you want something that's even more portable, then we start a different conversation. So I guess it kind of starts by asking questions, but I'm out in the field all the time meeting people like you and getting to hear your stories and, help spread some audio knowledge.
Cool.
We love that. And we understand the importance of good audio, right? But we're always looking to level up our game, of course. And Kira asks a great question. So many great questions already. Keep them coming, everyone. She wants to know about any tips can we give our guests who we're interviewing on our shows, our podcasts, what have you, who might not have a microphone at home. So Laura, before we even dive into, how are we going to set up our microphones, what tips can we give guests who might not be as savvy, who might not have the equipment that we have? They're still going to give us really great content. How do we make them sound better?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I'd say the first piece of advice is find some headphones, whether they're earphones, I'm using earphones right now, or earbuds or whatever, so that you can make sure that they're not going to be monitoring your audio and themselves through their speakers on the computer, because that's going to cause echo, that's going to cause delay. So making sure they can hear themselves as they're recording is going to be important, even if they're just using the onboard mic of their computer camera or on their actual computer. Those have come a long way. So it's getting in the quietest space they can get in and making sure that they're not trying to listen back to you as you're interviewing them through the speakers on their computer.
So I see a lot of people who don't. So I'm using these. Connor, are you using headphones? I can't hear you, but I guess your mic's off. See,
I got mine.
We're at an audio show and we're muted.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're pros. We're total pros.
So I see a lot of people. That's one of the things, and they say, hey, I don't need them because it doesn't work. But you never know, because it seems like it doesn't depend. Like if you're doing a guest show, it depends on who comes in, what they're doing. It's just kind of random. So I always use these and get ones that plug in. Don't use your AirPods, because I have been in situations where it's just gone. It's just it disconnects.
Yeah, and there is no way to monitor with Bluetooth without a little bit of latency or delay. So you're going to hear yourself in your head and hear back, and it'll have that slight little slap back, and it's really distracting, and you're not going to be able to focus on the sound. And so, yes, that's a great point. You definitely want to make sure you have wired headphones or earphones or earbuds.
And just because I know there's some newbies in here, you say, okay, I have these, but they have really short little, it only goes to your phone. You can get extenders. In fact, what I have is a cheap little cable from Amazon that I can just plug in, and I have a lot of room to roll over it with my chair. So
I know I have quite a bit of, I feel like it's going, up my back and around. Because I can't do headphones with these curls. It's just, you don't want to crush these bad boys. So, yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Same,
Yeah.
you feel it.
So we've got some great, another great question. And this is, since we're kind of doing guest questions right now, in the chat, Zach Brown says, this is pretty basic, but we're here for the basic questions too. But I always need help with room noise. What can you do? Let's say you have an air conditioner. I'm not talking from experience, but air conditioner, you have to blast when it's hot outside, or you're just getting started and you just have a little, spot in your bedroom. What can you do to help your room sound good and get the best audio from your mic?
Yeah, the most basic fix you can do is get as close to the microphone as you possibly can. If you're listening with headphones right now, you're going to hear that you can't hear the echoes that you can when I scooch off just a couple inches. You can hear the reflections in my room, but yeah, microphones, they tend to pick up what's exactly in front of them. So if you have a really bouncy, active room, you really want to use a dynamic mic, which I'm sure we'll get into when we get into the nitty gritties, that will help reject the sounds just naturally and how the mic is built. But then, get as close as you can. And if nothing else, if you're in someplace hot, you have to have your AC going. If you're streaming, that's going to be a particular challenge because you can't edit it in post. If you are able to edit in post, there are some denoisers that you can run. The Isotope one is fantastic. It's a little pricey. I've used Hush before, which takes forever to process, but it's still a really good one. I feel like every app I've used recently has some form of denoising in it, but that will take away some of those reflections and not what's called gate your voice too heavily. So that's it. Get close to your microphone.
So on that note, I know Descript has a studio sound, which is okay. It depends on the room and the voice and the person. And then Adobe has their podcast one you can run through. Yeah. And then I even use Aphonic sometimes. So it depends on the room. It depends on if you're taking a guest in, what their situation is, what their voice is. So, for me, it depends on the person, what tool I use, if they're being a tool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If they're being a tool, that's great.
I can't really alleviate that, but yeah.
I think a lot of it has to deal with those tools are great to use after, but it's just a Band-Aid, right? It's not a fix. So the more you can get set up in place to start and have your audio sound good at the get, that's where you're going to have the best at the very end. And then you can still run it through those tools and things to help it out in the end. Laura, you've worked with so many creators to level up their audio and help them. We've kind of talked a little bit about an audio setup and strategy and why that's super, super important. But do you have any examples you can share of, when you helped a creator or a company just really level up their audio strategy? And if not, what are some kind of basic things that you always tell people that they're facing these challenges, how they can get better audio with everything?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a specific example. It's more broad than that. I think it's anytime you help people learn why a microphone alleviates things or why doing something alleviates this problem, that's when you have those light bulb moments. And I think audio and technology can be really daunting to people. But now we're in this really cool time where if you have a question and you're embarrassed to ask it, you can go to the YouTubes, you can go to the internet and really search and find things. But in terms of what I've done, I try to make it approachable. How does this going to relate to you? Tell me about your challenges. Tell me about your show. Tell me about your band, whatever it is, and really listen and then tailor it to that because there isn't really like a turnkey solution for all, especially when you start looking at microphones for performers. That's when it gets like a really personal choice. Whereas podcasting, we've dialed it in pretty well. Connor, you're using the SM7B. Jeff, you're using one as well, it looks like.
SM7DB. Yeah.
The DB, perfect. And so, that's going to sound great on pretty much all the voices. But when you start working with vocalists, that's when it gets really fun and you can really dive into trying them out. Just like a guitarist would pick up several different guitars and play them, vocalists need to do the same thing. So that was kind of a long-winded answer to that. Sorry.
No, that's great. So I'm just curious, because I went to your website and looked at all the things, Laura, and you've got some gigs coming up, singing. You had some around Christmas, I saw. But do you take your own mic? Like when you're a performer, you like,
yes.
Okay, this is my mic. You guys use this, and I don't know. Like, is that what performers do? I know speakers have, they'll bring their Countryman or whatever or their Shure mic around with them. So is that what you do?
I wish that more of us did, but a lot of us don't. And so, yes, I bring my microphone. I use something called a Nexidine, which sounds like a drug that you shouldn't take if you're allergic to Nexidine, but it's a great microphone. And I use the supercardioid version, which just means that's how the microphone physically picks up the sounds coming in. Supercardioid is a tighter polar pattern. So if you have really good mic technique, or if you know that you have a lot of potential bleed from instruments coming in around you, it can be a lot better for that. So yeah, I bring that, especially post-COVID, because it was like, you don't want to go into a venue and just use a mic. Yeah. There's a lot of things happening.
I know Billy Joel says the microphone smells like a beer, but if you smell your microphone, it smells off. You're like, that's not good. Yeah.
It's so gross. It's such a turnoff now. Like, I'm just like, why didn't I do this my whole life? So when we go in and we give workshops to college students, we really lean into that message. Bring your own mic, be responsible for your own sound. And I also tell them, you don't have to spend $1,000 on a mic. You could sound great through an SM57. Do I? No. I just found out Cyndi Lauper insists on singing through an SM57. We traditionally say that's for men, for their vocals. It's actually really for instruments. But yeah, so anyway, you got to try the mics, and then it'll make all the difference in the world.
That's so interesting.
Chris from Cast Ahead says, disclaimer, using the Shure Nexidine will cause you to sound better and want more of them. It's
true.
Nexidine does sound like something like the corporation that started Skynet. It just does. Like,
I know. It's an interesting name, which I've come to love. But yeah, it was kind of like, that's an interesting choice. And the technology that's in it also sounds interesting. It's called Ravonic, which it's so cool. So just to geek out for a minute, sorry everybody, stay with me.
Good.
So microphones have traditionally one diaphragm. The diaphragm is what vibrates and responds to the sounds going into it, and it's usually on a cardio or on a dynamic microphone. It's attached to a magnetic coil. It surrounds a magnet. It moves. It generates signal. That's how you get sound. Condensers are a little bit different. It's thinner. There is no magnet. There's a electrically charged backplate, which is why you need phantom power for a condenser mic. It's more sensitive. But then Ravonic is two motors, two transducers, and it's a dynamic microphone, so it has the magnet and everything, that are perfectly matched. And when you have that perfectly matched two motors, it cancels out all the stuff you don't want to hear and enhances all the things you do. So it helps knock down handling noise on the microphone. Now, this is more for live application, but and it focuses on the sweet spot, the frequencies that you would normally as a live sound engineer have to notch out or boost. it's magical. But we've been around for 100 years. So
Yeah.
that's why we kind of have some skills in that regard.
So I want to know.
Ask your doctor if next time is right for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's great.
That's a great tagline. That's rich. Yeah. So one of the questions I have is, have you always been an audio nerd, or like I figured you've been singing since you were a kid, but then when did you start like getting into like super nerdy, like Chris Stone level audio stuff?
Not until 2006. So I got asked to demonstrate this really complicated piece of gear called the Voice Live, which is made by a company that's no longer, but TC Helicon. And I had to learn it in 2 weeks and then go demonstrate at something called the NAMM show. That's NAMM, not as in Vietnam. And it is our largest show of the year for musicians. It's a really cool trade show. And so I got into this piece of gear, which I had never been a gear tech person. I was always kind of like stumbling my way through. And I was like, this is really cool what it does for the voice. And then when I started demonstrating it and people were having these light bulb moments of, I can do that, or this can help me create more, it was such a drug that I was like, I want to learn all the things about gear. And so it kind of, spiraled from there. And that was almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
So that's how that addiction started.
Yeah. And the thing is Laura does a really great job. I saw her present in a couple sessions at Podcast Movement, and she does a great job of explaining kind of in normal people's terms how things work. So if you ever have a chance to hear her speak, it's really, really good. So listening to Laura, that's our great next segue, because we're going to be talking about her new podcast and building a podcast and how to do that. So here's the question I want to ask you guys in the audience. Like, do you listen to short form podcasts? Because your podcast you have now is pretty short. It's like 10 minutes, I think.
15 minutes,
10, 15 minutes, yeah. And do you guys like short ones, or do you like the longer episodes? Like, what's your favorite podcast? Like, do you have a long form favorite podcast, a short form? I'm trying to think of what mine is. I've been really binging as I've been driving lately is Malcolm Gladwell's Revisionist History. I just like that stuff.
Oh, very cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, he's got one on Hitler's Olympics. It's like a 9-episode arc. And it's really fascinating. Anyway, enough about me, but I want to know what you guys like to listen to.
Yes.
Connor, what's your favorite one?
I love Podcast The Ride. It's a podcast all for theme park nerds and stuff like that. 3 comedians just talk about that. They bring on guests, and the guests kind of share what theme parks they grew up going to, what stuff. This month, it's all about haunts, so Halloween haunts that they go to. It's awesome.
Ooh, that's very cool.
Laura, what's your favorite one? Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, I don't listen to a ton of podcasts because I live in a small town and my drive is like 10 minutes anywhere, which is why I made my first podcast 10 to 15 minutes long.
Got it.
Because I knew my audience was going to be my immediate circle, and that was their drive time, right? Like, we don't have a lot of commutes. But I did, oh my gosh, what is it called? I found this one. I was driving back from the airport. My flight was really delayed. It was like 1:00 in the morning. And for some reason, I decided to listen to this podcast about paranormal activity. It's called like BuzzFeed. Oh God, I'm gonna have to look it up. And it was so scary. I had to turn it off. And it's fun. Like, one of the guys is a total skeptic and the other one isn't. And I don't know why, but the sound, there are all these like technologies now where BuzzFeed Unsolved is what it's called, where you can find, or you can like communicate with ghosts more easily. And so they were doing this on the show at 1:00 in the morning, and I was driving back roads of Connecticut. It was scary, but anyway.
See something in your rearview mirror. Like, yeah.
So
I'm like you. I have a 30-second commute, and like, so that's why I love road trips, because I like have all these podcasts I can just binge listen to. So it's a lot of fun. So
yes.
I'm so excited to hear.
Yeah, but I find some.
Yeah. There's so much out there. I think that's the big thing for me too. It's like only so much time in the day, of course. I can't wait to hear about how you started and you're building your new podcast. But we have a great question first from this one, Jeff, Bubble Up Media. They ask, any rules of thumb to make sure the recorded level of podcasts sounds best across multiple platforms? Is compression a solution? Nothing worse than a podcast that's too quiet for the gym. I'm totally in agreement with this. It's one thing that I think drives
me. Go to the gym,
out.
Connor.
No, not the gym part.
Called out.
No.
Yikes,
Time out. Not the gym
fired.
part. No, it's the thing of like, all of a sudden it's super loud and then it's super quiet, and I keep having to pull my phone out and update the volume and stuff like that. So how can we kind of get consistent to ensure that it's a good volume across whatever platform our listeners are listening with?
Yeah, so it's kind of twofold. So the thing that you want to do is make sure that when you're recording in, that your gain level is high enough so that you're hitting in the green and yellow, not in the red on your audio meters. No matter what platform you're using, those are going to be the colors you look for. So you want to make sure you're in green and yellow just so it's nice and hot and the signal is there. And then on the back end, when you're processing it and you're exporting it, there's something called normalization that you can use. There's also something called mastering, which we traditionally do on music mixes. And that's where it takes the whole podcast, the whole recording, what have you, and boosts the signal and normalizes it so that you don't have any major peaks and valleys. And it's regulating what's called loudness. So essentially, they have that on some plugins. I think I've seen it in Adobe. Where did I see it just yesterday? So you can apply that normalization and it should kind of boost things. But the best thing to do is before you hit publish, go listen to it in your car, before you hit go. If you have time, that's my litmus test. The gym I don't go to. But you want to make sure that it is loud enough and that it's level matched. So you compare it against existing pods. So go into your car, pull up a podcast on whatever you listen on. In my case, the evil Spotify, and then play it on your phone or whatever you're going to be sending that final file from. And if it's not loud enough, you boost the overall mix, not individual channels. You should do that prior to mastering.
Jeff, this is what you do. You get your podcast, right? Then you put up on YouTube sounds from the gym, all right? You put your headphones in and turn it up. You never have to step foot in a gym.
That's a great tip because I won't. Like I used to lift weights, but they're so heavy. So, and Chris from Cast Ahead says he's actually put it in there. So there are some standards if you Google them, like when you export from Descript or some of the other tools, you can set like the podcast recommended loudness settings. I think is something you can use, and there's like normalize and all that stuff. But I'll let Laura and Chris answer all those super nerdy sound. Chris, he'll talk your ear off about all this stuff, and then you ignore like half of it, and then you're like, oh, settings, okay, I can do that. It's like with Chris because he's a big time audio guy. He's where I go all my questions with. So, but I want to talk about your upcoming podcast.
Sure.
Great name, TMI with Laura, which stands for the music industry, which I thought was genius. So, what inspired you to launch this second podcast and your one now, Song 43? Was there something that you weren't able to cover or a topic that you wanted to create this new one? What are the thoughts of like switching, or are you going to have two at the same time, or are you just going to kind of fade out one? What's your thoughts?
Right. Well, so Song 43 has been on hiatus since April. So my thought is to do a limited run of, 3 to 5 more episodes to kind of segue into TMI, which it's a very similar platform. Song 43 is a podcast that I created because I was teaching people how to podcast and I didn't have one of my own, which was just embarrassing. So I said, I'm going to take the advice of all these amazing creators around me and I'm just going to push record. And so I did. I recorded it, I edited it, and I published it from an airplane on my way to that NAMM show that I was telling you about. And now I'm like 108 episodes into that show, but I realized I had kind of run out of listening to myself talk. And when I'd had guests on, I had so much more fun. So TMI is it's interviews with all of my friends in the industry who I've known for a million years, who are out there crushing it and doing things that you probably have never heard of. So front of house engineer for the Indigo Girls, tech for Bon Jovi, the background singer for Eric Church, like learning about what they do, how they survive when they're doing a tour, like you don't have steady income. So what does that look like? And just giving a real peek behind the curtain of all the stuff that is the music industry and whether it changes drastically from AI and what we're all looking at from that perspective at this point. And, I'm really excited about it. So it's a segue. It's the same thing. Song 43 was about how I managed to make music while I'm being a mom, working full time and doing all the things.
Mhm.
And now this is about how everybody else does that and just bringing in more people because I was just bored of myself, basically.
Yeah, I get that. That's why Connor's here.
Yay.
No, Connor's amazing too. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Laura, I'm interested in, are there any nerves about going from a short form to a long form? I know you're bringing in guests right now, but do you have any apprehensions before you started that? And then also, what do you want people to get out of this show who they might be a podcaster, right? But they want better audio tips. What are you hoping people get out of it in general?
Yeah. So I guess first, the answer to the first part is, am I daunted by it or, nervous about it? Yes, absolutely. But I know that I have the right tools and the skills to do it much better than I was when I started Song 43 3 years ago. So I guess the only thing that I'm daunted by is the time that it takes
Mhm.
to just, batch record, edit, all that jazz, and the visuals. That's what I'm the most daunted by, like having that real branded launch. Because Song 43, I was just figuring it out as I went. And so like the thumbnails aren't the same and it's all whatever. I tried my best. So now I'm really trying to approach it from a measured standpoint of like, how do I want to do this? Who do I want to reach? What is my message? So that's
Yeah.
different. So that's daunting. And yeah, just having people learn something they maybe didn't know about the music business is what I'm looking for. And then just, empowering, because I always drop little tidbits in about the tech that I use and why I use it. And, so I'm hoping that it continues down that path.
So is it going to be you said you're going to do, you kind of wrap up the other show, a couple more episodes, kind of a limited run, and then start this new one. Is it going to be a weekly show? Is that what you're planning, or what's the frequency?
I don't know yet because I think it's probably going to have to be every other, just knowing how my schedule runs and the production side of things. And knowing the people that I'm trying to get on, their schedules are very tricky to work around. So that's what I'm organizing right now. Is it going to be, like a long form thing where I get them on and batch everybody in a couple days, or am I spreading this out? So I'm aiming for an every other week just because I know my life.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? I have a lot of cool friends, so maybe I'll knock a bunch out.
That's a good thing. So what about is it going to be video? Or are you going to just do audio
Yes.
only? Okay, cool.
No, it'll be video. Yeah.
Nice.
It'll be both. And the reason why I wanted to pivot now too away from Song 43 is because I have a new album that I've been working on for 6 bloody years that I'm really trying to get out. And so it's kind of a way to ramp up to that and just build an audience for that, because I've learned a lot from you, Jeff, and from Lou, and just from everybody about community and the importance of community. And I'm sitting on this email list of people who've been following my musical journey forever, but I'm kind of like, well, there's more to offer. Did you know that I know these cool people? Did you know that I can help you set up your podcast? I can help you get better audio, so I have ulterior motives like everybody else. I'm not just making it to hear myself talk.
So I have a follow-up question, Connor, and you can follow up after this one. But I think, you're going to interview studio people, and hopefully they'll have great audio setups when you interview them. But I have found, because I produce Guy Kawasaki's Remarkable People, and he has people like, we've had Martha Stewart on. We're getting ready to have Brene Brown. I mean, all these people, like huge people.
Oh my gosh.
And the more famous and wealthy they are, the worse their tech is. There's some algorithm. I talk about this with Chris Stone. There's something happened. So how, as you're getting ready, because I think this will be really fascinating for people who are watching and kind of wanting to start their own shows, like, what are you going to do to help with that? Now, Guy sends a mic to all his guests now. A lot of them just don't use it. Like, it's a decent mic, and they just And so how are you going to set yourself up for success for this? Because I know that's a problem that a lot of people have when they do interview shows. You're kind of limited if you don't have an in-studio thing where people can come to New York and come to your studio. We're all doing this via basically like interview mode with Ecamm. So what are you going to do? How are you going to handle that?
So I will be asking, so I'm going to make an intake form. That's on my to-do list for this next week, so that it's set, ask the question of, where are you going to record? Because it's going to be catch as catch can for some of them. And can I send you a mic, or do you have one? So my thought is I will be sending out a mic and headphones for them to use, earphones specifically, as
So
like a gift to the guest. You know, that's the other
awesome.
thing. Like, I'm not going to pay
When can
these
I be
people.
on? No.
So. Yeah, right. You know,
Exactly.
sign up.
No, it's
Maybe
right
not the
here.
mic, but the
Yeah, I already
headphones.
got
I don't want earphones back once you've used
Yeah,
them.
that's kind of gross.
But you know, like I remember I was a guest on a podcast, and this woman is in Australia, and she sent me a plant, and
Wow.
I love it. It's like still in my bedroom, and it makes me so happy. So, and I had a guest on, and I sent her a journal, you know, just like something, a nice
yeah.
thing. So anyway,
Now I got to figure out what to
earphones.
send Laura. Gosh, now. Okay.
Yeah. Nope. No.
Connor, do you have any follow-up questions?
You give me your
I just wanna
brilliance, Jeff. That's
yeah.
that's your gift to me.
Jeff sends me pecan pies all the time. It's great. Can't
No,
get
he
enough
does
of them.
not.
So maybe, yeah. Sorry, cat's out of the bag. You might have to start sending that to everyone
Thank
now.
you.
Jeff.
Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
Oh my
Laura,
gosh.
I do want to
That's my
ask,
husband's favorite.
these are very good. They're very, very good. Laura, I do want to ask you, go back 100 episodes, right? From
God.
song 43. What do you know now about podcasting that you either wish you knew back then, or just something you learned along the way? And how are you going to take that with TMI?
Yeah, I think streamlining the process for distribution is what I learned, because I would just be like, "Ugh." I would record, edit, publish all in one night, which was super fun, but now I can't do that with guests.
Yeah.
So it's just having those tools all lined up, having the templates lined up, having, you know, my eCam all set, my overlays and the branding there, so my scenes are good to go. That's something I would never have thought about. So that's where I'm really looking at it, is just from a streamlining all the processes, because I'm going to be doing it all myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a great, before we move on to the next section, I wanted to bring this up from Chris. He goes, I found that most podcast guests don't consider even halfway decent audio important. No one has told them honestly that they need to just get a dynamic mic, not complicated or expensive. So for those of us, Laura, who can't send a mic to our guests just because we don't work for a mic company and we just can't do that, so you mentioned kind of having a checklist and like maybe even a pre-call. Are there anything else we can do to make sure the guest has the best experience and sounds the best, not just for our show, but just in general, because it's going to be hopefully shared out and people will listen to it, and you want the guest to sound good. So are there any other things we should look at?
I mean, I think Chris is right in that kind of the honesty is really important. Having it be, maybe show them kind of like an A/B example. Like, here's what we're going for, here's what we're not going for, because that tends to make people go, oh, snap. Yeah. You know, and show them like a famous person with crappy audio on ESPN. Like, a lot of times you're watching network television and they're calling in on CNN too, and they're just like, you know, during COVID we suffered through a lot of it. But Chris is right, like, get yourself a dynamic mic. But people don't know what that means. But anyway, I guess giving them kind of, if they're being stubborn or they're pushing back or you can't send them a mic, give them the basics of using headphones, getting as close to the source as they can, and then maybe have them record themselves and see, because you really can't tell what's coming in unless you listen back. So I don't know. That was a jumbled response.
Well, I'm lucky enough, and I think Chris is this way too, because of the Dealcaster show, which is another great show, by the way. And I know you've been on that a couple times. That, you know, you can have pre-calls with people you don't know. I'm lucky that I knew Laura was going to have great sound. We didn't have to do a pre-call. Most of my guests are podcasters or video people, and I know. So I think having that checklist and doing, the only time I've been burned is when I haven't gotten on early enough to help diagnose problems, or haven't done a pre-call. So when you're starting a podcast, especially for interviews, having that checklist and just being really disciplined to do that. Like, I know it's a pain to do a pre-call with people who haven't done it before, but man, I've been burnt when I don't, you know, like, I had one person, we said, let's do a call. She hadn't done it before, and she did a call and it was great. And then she showed up in a different location for the actual show. And I'm like, why would we do the pre-call? Yeah. So anyway,
Billy Thorpe, the incomparable Billy Thorpe, with this great comment. Mike,
I love it.
You get the boot. They decide.
Yes.
Draw the hard line.
So true. Yeah. I'm loving Kira's comment though, just to go back to pecan pie. I hear it the same way. She says she only hears Billy Crystal saying it. Pecan pie.
Yeah.
Pecan pie. Sorry. I
Yeah,
love that
very
movie.
true. That was anyway.
When Harry Met Sally, for those of you
Yes,
playing
that's
along
my
there.
wife's favorite. One of our favorite movies we saw when we were dating.
Yes.
That's how old we are. Oh my gosh.
Same.
So,
I mean, that movie has so many great lines, and it's based in the fall, so everyone should watch it right now.
I know.
This
pretty
weekend.
much, yeah.
Just do it.
Real quick, another thing you should watch or go to and see. Watch all of Ecamm's amazing stuff over at their channel.
Yes.
Ecamm.com/Jeff to save 15% on your first purchase. They have a ton of stuff. And Jill, who was in the audience earlier, has been killing it over there. Oh, look, see? Looky here. Same. Twinsies. We actually, they have so much good stuff going on. They're putting out so much great content. Sorry. Sit down. Sit down, Connor.
Sit down.
Ecamm.com/Jeff. This has been a fun
will
show. We're
say-
already off the rails, and I'm having a good time.
I will say,
go ahead.
Ecamm Fam, the newly launched YouTube channel, Ecamm Fam. This week they posted, I think, Jill and Doc Rock, their studio tours. And it's great
They
because
did.
they're very different, right? But you can kind of see what works for you. And they talk over mics and all the stuff in there. So give that a watch as well.
Yeah, you probably won't ever see a studio tour here because there's like a cone of cleanliness.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
just like
same.
right here, like on the sides. Oh my gosh, like a bomb went off. All right,
Yeah,
so
same.
let's talk about this next part. What Laura has in her little melon to talk about some ideas and things. But I want to know from the audience, what's one piece of audio gear you own, or maybe one you want, that completely changed your game, or maybe it made you wanted to rage quit. Like, don't ever talk to me again. Like, what? I want to know both sides of the coin. Like, what is frustrating you the most, and what is the thing that changed the game? Connor, do you have something that changed the game for you audio wise?
Listen, I know she's here, but I have to say my Shure SM7B. But it's comboed with I plug it into the Rodecaster, and the reason is I don't have to worry about everything, right? Like I know I flip two switches, I keep my levels like exactly where they are. I don't move those things at all, and I know it's just going to produce good, clean audio. That's what it was. I made that investment. I wanted to make that investment. I've had this for years now, and it works so well. So that's the thing that changed it for me. Knowing that it's gonna produce great sounding content and I have it all set up is awesome.
Yeah, for me, so I started, listen, you can start with anything, folks, and I can just hear Chris Stone screaming at his monitor right now. I used a Blue Yeti for a long time.
A lot of us did, Jeff.
And a lot. I mean, that was the thing I had. I actually had it hanging. It was like 50 pounds hanging in front of me.
Yeah.
For my first podcast for a long time. So you can do stuff with a decent mic. Of course, I love my SM7DB, and I think the Rodecaster for me, and I still have the original big, huge one. I don't have the newer one. I would love to have a duo because it'd be smaller. But I love the sounds that you can get from it. But I think that was the biggest thing. And then having people on like Laura and talking to Chris and like having them help me up my audio game. People will forgive video. They will not forgive your audio. So that was one thing that was always nailed in my head. So if you're trying to up your game, and I know Amy Keys was talking about that, find a good mic in your budget, and you can get a really good mics all the way through. So Laura, what about you? What was the thing that changed it for you? And then kind of give us the breakdown of prices for people who want to upgrade. Like we talked about, like in your budget, like that can mean a lot of things. So
it absolutely can. And I think what changed the game for me, so I came to Shure, it'll be 8 years next month, which is crazy. And I thought I knew all the things about mics, and I didn't know anything about them. So I had to learn. And the first time I used one of our Motive mics, MOTIV, it changed my life because I was so used to having to get an interface or a mixer and an XLR cable, all of these words that people might be like, you lost me. But it took a lot of effort and lift. Now USB mics have come so far. So when I started to use a USB mic, I was like, well, this is easy. And that was the real game changer for me. So I have all the gear, I have all the things I can plug into and overcomplicated, but now, plug in via USB, plug in my headphones. Sounds great.
Very cool.
So pricing wise, you had asked about that.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on what you're looking for in terms of if you're going to be using something that's going into a mixer, then you can start with something as affordable as an SM58. I mean, there's all kinds of mics out there. I'm not saying.
So when you say
there's
affordable,
others,
what's the price for that? What's when you say that?
At 109. It was
Okay.
99 for a million years, and we, the world's changed. So 109 for an SM58, and that would just plug into a mixer, an interface, like the Focusrite, which I have sitting right over there. Or we make something called the MVX2U, which is a single channel interface. And I usually have all of my toys in front of me. I'm so ill prepared. My desk is just a mess, so I can't grab anything. But it's an inline pre that you plug the microphone into, and then it runs USB into your computer, which is great. And everything ranges from like $109 to $500, and that's the top in terms of our podcasting range. So it's not, I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. It is, but you can get into the market and, get the MV7 Plus that I'm using right now for $299. And
which is a great mic. Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like a lot, but when you think about it, because it is your mic and your interface, essentially, you're great. And then there's another level, the MV7i, which actually is a microphone with a built-in interface that we made so that you can have a 2-channel podcast with just one of these. It's magic bananas, but our prices are not crazy.
Right.
But some people view us as premium. There's a reason, because we're indestructible. The SM7B came out in the 70s, the SM7DB just a couple of years ago. And for those who are playing along at home, the DB has a built-in preamp because the SM7B is notoriously gain hungry. The Rodecaster can drive it, but you often have to, if you weren't using a Rodecaster, bring in something called the Cloud Lifter.
Mm-hmm.
Now the SM7DB, you don't have to.
Right.
So like I said, 109, that's for an SM58 all the way up to the SM7DB. It's not crazy though. You're worth it. That's what I say.
You have it for years. It's not a one and done. We're recording 2 podcasts with this thing. You're going to have it for all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're hit by lightning or something, but
thanks for that.
Let's not have that.
Here's a question for you before I bring out some comments, is how important it is. So I think it's the SM7. Is it the Plus that has USB and you have the option to do an XLR in if you did want to go to interface? Is there one?
The MV7?
Yeah.
The MV7 Plus. Yeah. The original MV7 was the same way. The difference between the MV7 and the MV7 Plus is the USB-C and then some additional DSP features. So DSP stands for digital signal processing, which essentially lets you have reverb, the denoiser that I talked about, and just a few other features under the hood, and a different LED screen or touch panel rather. But yes, that one is XLR or USB. When you use it via XLR, we've had people say, this thing, it's not lighting up. It sucks. And I'm like, well, no, it's great. It's just you're using it as an XLR microphone, which means you lose all the DSP, you lose the lights and all that processing power because that's coming through the USB. So just don't yell at the mic.
So I usually recommend that for people who are getting started, because if they do want to get a board later, you can use it for that. You're not like
exactly.
And that's why I love being able to have both options. Like you can plug in USB and just go and have all the lights and like you're saying. But if you upgrade and you want to have a Rodecaster or something like that, you have the mic already. You don't have to go buy another mic. So I just think
exactly.
What are you laughing at, Connor? What did I say?
No, I'm laughing at all these comments about my setup. Billy Thorpe saying, dang, Connor's Rodecaster plus Shure SM7B can't hide money. It's called credit card debt, people. All right, get on board.
No,
it's not. I bought them years ago, and you buy one thing at a time, right? It's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, here's my latest plug, Connor, that I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will resonate, who it'll resonate with, but I used to say like handbags for women, but I'm going to say dinners. Okay. Nice dinners out for 2 people. You're dropping $100-$150, right? Okay. Let's be real. Now let's just skip 2 dinners and you can have an MV7 Plus. 2 dinners out. I'm not saying to starve yourself, but I'm just saying, like, put it into perspective, because people are like, whoa, $300. That's a lot of money. No kidding. But so's everything right now.
Yeah.
So put it into perspective and realize it's an investment in you. And do you want to buy something and then have to buy it again 2 or 3 times?
Yeah.
Or do you want to buy the right thing the first time? Just saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And seriously, it's once you said it. Oh, so we got questions, but I was going to ask one more question because, gosh, you only have 10 minutes left. And this is from Billy. It reminded me of this. He goes, it looks great. He hates how it looks on camera, but there's a reason it's on every stage in the world. Here's the question. I see a lot of YouTubers who are using those boom mics because they don't like to have this in front of them. They don't like the way it looks, which I think is, I'm not going to say. But anyway, what are your thoughts about having a setup with just a boom mic? Like,
Are you talking like a shotgun mic?
Yeah, shotgun mic, out of
option?
camera,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. What are your thoughts?
Don't
about
do it. People think shotgun mics. I can hear Doc like chiming in and be like, no, don't think that a shotgun mic is a telescope. It is not. Shotgun mics are used for outdoor recording of dialogue. That's when you see the guy with the boom pole or the gal. Sorry, not to stereotype. And it's got baffles in the side that help redirect wind and external noise and give you a focused sound at the very front of the mic, but they don't reach out and grab sound. And that's the misconception of all people. So with microphones, they think, well, I'll just get it out of my shot. Well, cool, but now you hear more of the space. So you really have to work with your mics. They don't reach out and grab the sound. So if you don't want a mic in your shot, you can get creative with it. Like, I don't have to have this mic here. I could use a low profile boom arm. I could have it further down. But you just have to keep in mind, you're going to compromise your sound quality because mics are not magical. They're capturing what's right in front of them. So that's my soapbox moment.
So even if you're doing YouTube videos, it makes sense to do a mic like this, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, or you use a lavalier, which again, I don't know. Oh, I do have one. Yay, go me. We make these little content creator mics. Sorry, I'm like, where'd I go? This is Move Mic. And it's a lavalier that pairs to your phone, or you can use it with our receiver, which looks like this. And the receiver can plug into your computer or into your phone as well. So, you have options. And this guy is so discreet.
Oh, they're awesome.
Like teeny tiny and super durable. So if you want to have your hands free, you don't want a mic in your shot, you talk with your hands a lot. People tell me that. I'm like, well, that's just user error. Just like move the mic and then you can be a little more free. But I will say, using the MV7 Plus in auto level mode, which many of our mics come with now, also alleviates that. So you can be a little further away and fudge it and get it out of your shot. And auto level mode will automatically adjust your signal so that you're getting the best sound. Even if you're not right up on it. So you can, if you're listening in headphones, it's actually boosting my signal very slowly right now. And then if I were to get right up on it, it's going to cut it back down so that it's not going to overload anybody. So that can help too.
Nice.
So kind of a follow-up question with that is Jen Schoen has this talking about the boom arms, right? So meaning this that we have here, this apparatus, right? How important is this for the mic as opposed to just one that's sitting on the desk? Is it more of a preferential thing? Is it actually enhancing the audio? What's your thoughts on that?
It's really isolating the mic is what the boom arm does. If you have a desktop mic, it's going to be more prone to picking up your mouse movement. If you're typing anything, that's why we get it up and out. But yeah, if you have it on the desktop stand, you'll pick up table noise. So that's just something to think about. If you're not touching your table or your desk while you're doing things, yeah, you're fine.
I like using it too because I can just, once I'm done, I just move it off.
Push it out of the way. Yeah.
Push it out of the way and I got my desk back.
Yeah.
Mine's always here. I don't know who I'm kidding, but yes. I dream about that.
And I think I said this at Momentum or I can't, maybe it was Creator Camp, but if you can find a spot where you can leave everything set up so you don't have to be taking it up and down. Like if you're wanting to start a podcast, I mean, that's, even if it's a corner of your closet or bedroom or whatever, having a spot where you don't have to be like, I got to set up lights, take it down, because you won't do it. Like you'll be like, I don't want to do that. Remove all friction and having a little spot.
Yes.
I think is
such
so
great
important.
advice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to ask you as we kind of wrap up, from your perspective as both a creator and an audio expert, what is a common misconception creators have about achieving great sound? Like, do you have, like, when you're talking to people about audio, you're doing these presentations like at Podcast Movement or Camp or wherever, what do they usually get wrong that you have to go come out of the gate with, and like, this is what you need to do?
They think they need to spend way more than they need to spend. And they think that they need a degree in audio to know how to start a podcast. And now it's so much easier. It's so simple. So I think it's just removing that stigma and removing that internal barrier for them, that they really can just buy this one mic and some headphones, and they're good to go. Well, and a computer or a phone.
Yeah. So, looking ahead, what developments in the space, like with tech or, emerging creator needs, what are you most exciting about in the audio frontier? Like, I know you have all these insights with Shure, and you can only share so much, but what are you excited about that you see coming down the roadmap?
I think it's really just the ability to lessen the burden from an editing perspective, from all the AI and the tools and the algorithms that have gotten so much better within these platforms that we're using. That's what I'm the most excited about, because that's where people they get tired. They bug out because they're like, I don't want to put this much time into it. So that's what I'm most excited about, is just the creative tools just continuing to evolve and get better.
Yeah, it's exciting times. This is the worst it's going to be right now. So
yeah,
so cool.
I guess.
So a lot of people in the comments are saying things like, my Amazon wish list just got a little longer. And Mickey says mine too. Black Friday's coming up like next month.
Mm-hmm.
Should we wait, is what I'm saying. Would it be a good idea to hang on to our money, maybe put it in a savings account, and then wait because of all the goodness that Shure, they usually have some really great deals around that time. So should we wait? What are your thoughts, Laura?
I will neither confirm nor deny that statement or that question.
There are some great deals that happen on Black Friday, so I don't have any idea, but I would.
There are
wait.
Usually, historically, there have been deals. I will say that.
So I would. So Amy and Kira, unless you need it right away, like if you're starting it next week, I would wait till next month to buy your mic, because there are usually some great deals from all sorts of microphone things happening.
Jeff said it. I didn't.
So I know,
just for the record.
But I'm just saying, across the board, not just for Shure. There's mic deals that are going to happen on Black Friday.
Yeah.
But you might want to pick up some earphones. You might want to do some other stuff. So I would wait. Connor, did I miss anything that I should do?
No, I was just going to say, and then you'll send me a note and I'll send over my Amazon affiliate link and we'll get that all squared away, Amy.
Yeah.
And Sarah. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Laura, this has been amazing. Let me go back. I don't know why my camera isn't. There you go. Where can people find out more about you, and they can sign up to get your new podcast, all the things that are Laura Davidson?
Yes. So you can go to confuse things, lauraclap.com. That is my maiden name and my artist name and my Clark Kent identity, I guess, or my Superman identity. I don't know. In that you can find my music. You can find Song 43, and there will be links to TMI. There's also TMIwithlaura.com. There's nothing there really yet, but if you want to go on there and make sure you are in the know, you can sign up there. And yeah, that's the easiest way.
So the question I have is, you mentioned there's an album coming out that's like been 6 years in the making. Can we go to that to listen to that if we want to? Is it at lauraclap.com?
It's not there yet, but 2 of the singles that will be on it are there. So one is called Pretend, and the other one is called Don't Call Me Anymore. And so those will be on the album.
That's what I tell Jeff after
That's
every
no.
episode.
That was pretty much my username in college. But what? So when is the album coming out? Like, when's the actual album? Like the
I
shebang?
can't even put a date on that because my producer is I'm at his mercy. But we are aiming
like
for
the beginning
January.
of next year. Like beginning next year.
Yeah, like January is what I'm hoping for the NAMM show. I like to launch it around then because I have a lot of people I can tell about it when I go to that show.
Yeah, and for you guys
fingers
listening,
crossed.
it's Laura Clapp, and that's CLAPP.com for you guys listening on the podcast. So Make sure you go check her out. Check out the music. She's amazing. If you ever see her or you need a guest to talk about audio on your show, she is amazing. And so much fun to hang out with at conferences and seeing her presentations and all that. So make sure you go check her out.
Jeff.
And Connor Brown, where can people find out the more about the Unsinkable Connor Brown?
You can go to vacationkingdoms.com or follow me at Vacation Kingdoms. We've been talking a lot about our holiday wish list. You know what is the great gift? A gift of a vacation. Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Universal Orlando. Reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you plan that trip. What an awesome, awesome show we have had here today.
Yes, so much fun. Laura is amazing. Go out and, if you have questions, if you're watching this in the replay, put them down below wherever you're watching from. We'll try to answer them because I know it can be a little overwhelming when you're first starting a podcast or a live show or whatever. You're trying to get all your gear right. We kind of become obsessed with that. Get your mic right. Look at Shure's lineup. They have some amazing stuff from all gamuts of like budgets, and invest in yourself and get the one that you need to have longevity with your show because they make some great stuff. That's why both Connor and I use that. With that, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Kira, everybody, and Jim, all the fellas and ladies who watch the show. I appreciate you guys. And with that, and thank you to Ecamm for a sponsor show. And by the way, you can find out more about them by going to ecamm.com/Jeff. With that, we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Talk to you later.